Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look around another ship from the Steam Workshop. Now this is the Campbel Town, named after a British ship from World War II. Now this ship has a lot of really cool features to it, so we're going to take a look around the external, then we'll pop inside and do a bit of an interior tour. First off, this is rocking this really cool black and red colour scheme, combined with a few danger markings, of course, for hangar bays and whatnot. And as we quickly whip around, you can see that this ship is definitely suitable for survival. Its size is buildable, but at the same time it has some great thrust options. We're using a combination of both ion, using battery power or electric power you could say, and we've also got hydrogen thrusters, so we've got some good ability to maneuver. Now, coming around to the front, you notice that we've got these two large, almost ramming prongs to protect what's housed in this inner area. Now, in this inner area, if we just switch our light on, you'll notice we've got a few cool little features. First off, we've got this strong sort of middle bone structure made out of the blast door blocks to protect the ship from ramming if someone does decide to ram into it. Now, we've got the camera there for guiding these guys right here. These are gravity-driven torpedoes with the mass blocks at the front. You can see they've got two warheads and the reactor there at the rear. Not super cheap to build, but when these guys hit, they can do some serious damage. Underneath, you can see they've got the welder there as well. Very cool design. We see a lot of torpedoes in these ships, and when they manage to land a target in a multiplayer battle, wow, they can cause some damage. Now, coming to the side, we've also got a really cool feature here. We've got these little decoys. So you can see just on these areas here, on the merge blocks, we've got the decoys with the batteries. So these can distract a little bit of the enemy tracer fire if required. A really cool feature. You can see the grey sort of colour scheme here just slopes into the side. We've got that inlet sort of area on the side with the little glass windows that have been cut down. And that cuts further down into the hull. And we've got ourselves more decoys located on the bottom as well. These will be really great in stopping the enemy from actually targeting key components and allowing some of their missiles to reach the target if that happens to be the case. Now let's have a look on the top deck as we work our way back. So the first thing I noticed was we've got more welder based turrets here. So this is going to keep these turrets online for a lot longer, because if these turrets go down, you're going to stop shooting, and if you stop shooting, you will lose a fight. So I'm seeing in a lot of designs these days, welders placed at the base of them, and as long as you can keep the supplies and the plumbing intact, these turrets will keep firing. So we've got 3 turrets on either side, 2 Gatling guns, and 4 rocket launchers. Coming around the side, you'll notice that very well protected within the housing, we have some large ion thrusters. So from the front, you're actually getting absolutely no shots and any thrusters, so there's nothing worse than taking out the front facing thrusters and then you go crashing into something because you can't stop. Tucked down here below, we've got another welder missile turret, and on the bottom here, this is quite a vulnerable area, but there is some Gatling gun turrets covering this section, and due to the hull shape, it does mean that the missile launchers can face down and target that area as well. So as we come into the mid section of the ship, of course we've got the access door via the airlock. We have missile turrets. It's much heavier in missile turret designs than Gatling guns, and I understand why. Missile turrets have their advantages. They do a lot of damage, and they also cause ships to kind of be pushed away from the impact as well. That can really help you in a fight, and also kind of maneuver the enemy into a position that you can eliminate them from. So coming over to the rear thrust pack, we actually have ourselves more iron thrusters enclosed in a very protective housing. I really like the look of this. Now coming to the back section, we've got even more decoy pods. I won't release these all at the same time. I'll probably release these throughout the battle so you can have decoys going off as you need them. 2 Gatling turrets, well, 1 Gatling turret, 1 missile launcher there, and then we've got this rather worryingly exposed thruster pack. From this direction, there is pretty much no cover from Gatling guns until you get to about here, where 1 missile, or about 2 missile launchers can see us from either side, so a rather vulnerable rear area there. You don't want to cut too much of that thrust off. So coming onto the top of the rear area, we've got this little spinning gyroscopic radar device, as well as the standard one. We've got the jump drive exposed up there at the top. We've got this really cool grating and a few more decoy blocks tucked in there. I like the idea of these decoy blocks. It debatable how well they'd work in action, and you can see we've got some there as well. So let's head into the ship now. So as we come into the centre of the ship, we have this lovely airlock. We'll move through the airlock, and of course in the airlock this one has a turret to stop any would-be attackers, because when people see doors they know that there is probably an interior inside and they like to raid that. Nicely laid out interior with labelling, great for you, not so great for the enemy because they'll know where everything is. So as we come through this area, we go to the hangar bay. We've also got the briefing room in here where you can give a little briefing while the fighters are about to take off behind you. Very cool indeed. It's got small sort of capacity when it comes to fighters. They've got 3 connectors here, so I'm going to say it's a small, maybe 3 small fighters or 1 larger troop transport could fit in here. But you can see this is all mounted on a platform here. Very cool indeed, with the blast door blocks there, just adding a little bit of detail into that section, as well as a camera that looks into this section. So let's go back out and we'll loop ourselves away from the hangar bay and take us to the bridge R. So this is bridge A, sorry. So through here we've got various different crew quarters. Of course, these are important to have. You can label these as your crew members get aboard the ship. And a little toilet in that section there as well. We've got the main bridge, we've got bridge B and C, we've got the crew quarters, exit and hangar bay all in that direction. So let's check this out. We've got the crew quarters, a larger sort of bed area. I'm guessing this could be the captain's sort of quarters. We've got through here the main bridge. We've got the main bridge with a little blueprint of what looks to be a possible fighter or some sort of transport ship or mover ship. Very cool indeed. Up here we've got a few scripts running on this little rotor. So the rotor there rotates that panel into view of the ship. In case you can command it from one of these seats right here. Let's just check that right now. So as we jump into this, yep, we've got most of the timer blocks set up. We've got thrust set up on there, so we won't move it just for the moment. We'll be back here shortly. So back into our camera and we'll continue moving around. So going down here, we've got the 2 other bridges. Now, it's always important to have backup bridges and backup toilets as well, because you never know when one's going to get clogged or the other one's going to get blown up. And that counts for both toilets and bridges. Someone could always, you know, drop a bomb in one or the other, and things could end up being rather messy. So we've got the gyroscopes room, quick access, quick maintenance, and you can see the reactor. No oxygen in this area, so I'm guessing this is a maintenance area. Super important to have, especially around thrusters and areas of importance like this, so you can get out here with a welder and get things fixed up. The amount of times where players have got things stuck behind walls and they don't know how to fix or repair it in the middle of a battle, it just doesn't really work. So going back up here, we've got the mess, medical bay, and the hangar leading through here. So we've got the mess, we've got a little crew quarters area there with a little shower. We've got the same doing there, making use of that spare space, always a good idea. And as we come through here, we've got ourselves a little crew quarters for cooking, eating and all that, and we've got the hangar and engine room through here. So once again, another great little maintenance area to keep your eye on how things are being fixed. You've got the engines down here, access to the gyroscopes of course, looks pretty, as well as you can keep them repaired, and the engine room back where we had a look at before. It's always good to have extra sort of access tunnels as well. We've got access to all the bits we need. So we've got the cargo bay oxygen, and we've got cargo bay oxygen either side. Access to the cargo if we should need it. Maybe grab some supplies, bring them to an upper deck. And that's just a dead end in that section. So quite a simple corridor, very functional layout, and I do appreciate that in a lot of designs. So we've got the hangar bay back up here. That leads us to that area once again. So if we move ourselves back to the bridge, but first we're just going to pop the hangar open. We've got a lovely little bit of lighting. Then we've got the airlock ceiling. And one of the things that I think is cool about airlocks is you should always have your warning before everything starts to happen. You've got the platform then raised up to the roof. So let's just get that out there. And the fighters can release themselves. So of course you don't want a fighter that's any wider than this platform, and that's why it's been marked out with that warning tape right there. Let's head back to the bridge if we can. So through the crew quarters, up to the main bridge section. Let's get ourselves in this seat and check out some of these controls. Now, with a ship with so many devices and little decoys on it, it's going to be difficult to figure out what everything does. So we'll go to the G menu. So we've got torpedo, we've got cameras, we've got gravity acceleration. Ooh, gravity acceleration, very nice. We'll have to test that out. Battle station mode, normal mode, and drop decoys. We've also got a jump drive. So let's fire a torpedo to start with. So we've got ourselves a camera. We're going to set up the timer block and fire ourselves a torpedo. So that timer is now counting down. We'll see if it actually launches though. I never want to hit timers too much, so we'll hit the timer number 2. And are we getting anything on these torpedoes, or are these failing to launch? Let's try again. Check the menu. Launch torpedo left, launch torpedo right. Trigger, trigger. That should have launched both of them torpedoes, but something's not happening. Absolutely nothing from them. Okay, part 4. Okay, this is gravity assisted drive. Okay, we can now press number 4 again to turn the gravity assisted drive off, and we can use gravity assisted stop. You can see how it changes our gravity down in the right up to 26, so we don't even have to use them thrusters if we don't want to. So let's attempt to drop or move the battle stations. Let's move to number 6. This should be battle stations mode, so everything's going red on the interior by the look of it. Let's switch back again. So let's go to number 7, normal lighting, battle station lighting. Oh, cool feature to have. So number 8 is going to be our decoys. Oh, so the decoys spin up and then detach. Oh, and they detach all at once. Very cool indeed. I don't know why the missiles didn't work. I guess something just wasn't wired up correctly with them. But yeah, that would definitely draw some fire away from you inside a fight. Let's go to our next menu, make sure we haven't missed anything. Decoys drop. Go to our next menu, and we've got the hangar, so we can open and close that if we need to. And we have auto manually lock airlocks, refueling poles. So let's just check a few of them out now. So that should reverse the hangar down, or open it up, one or the other. There we go. That's reversing the hangar. Very cool indeed. We've got all the features, and nice. It's nice to have all these things. Let's extend our refueling arm and see where it pops out of. Refueling arm. Maybe I'm just missing. Oh, there it is. I'm seeing them both there. They're coming out of the lower hull in that section. Very cool indeed. And that is all of the features. Sadly, the missiles didn't work. I'm sure that's just a simple issue with the timer blocks not being set up and the merge block not releasing at the right amount of time, or even the merge block releasing before the things got power. But anyway, a beautiful ship, and I recommend that you check this one out in the workshop. The manoeuvrability of it is great, and because of that gravity drive, it means we can just whip it around. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.